Great. We're not live. So, Chapter 5. What is real estate? Somebody's going to trip on that. What is real estate? Who can tell me that?
Piece of land.
Say louder.
Piece of land.
A piece of land is real estate?
No, property.
Property.
A property is real estate? What?
Asset.
Asset?
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting there. The word estate means asset, something you own. So it could be either personal property or real property, which we'll address in a second. But first you need to understand what real estate is. Now, you guys are getting your real estate salesperson license, yes? But you don't know what real estate is. So you come to get a salesperson license for something you don't know what it is. That's awesome. Hey, I'm going to sell something. What is it? I don't know. But I'm going to make money out of it. That is perfect. So let's figure out what it is. I told you that estate means asset. So wherever it says real estate right up there, in the title, I want you to write asset. Because it means you own property. So real property ownership, as it says here, is described as a bundle of rights. Bundle of rights. So when the person purchases a parcel of real estate, he or she is actually buying the rights previously held by the seller. See, you don't own the land because the land belongs to the municipality. That's why we pay taxes on it. What we own is rights to the land, to occupy and do whatever we want legally. So it says right here, the 5 rights or fundamental rights we have is the right of possession, the right to use the property in any legal manner, and the right of enjoyment. Also, the next page, right of exclusion, and the right of disposition or alienation. That means to gift, be able to gift or sell your property. These are your 5 fundamental rights that you purchase from the previous owner. Okay? So let's recap, because you need to know these 5 rights from Chapter 5. Possession, use in any legal manner, enjoyment, exclusion, and disposition or alienation. Okay, so you can turn your property into the alienation. Right? That means to bring other people onto the title. Sell or give away.
What is real estate abbreviated again? The short term?
Real estate is already the short term of real property ownership.
Real property ownership.
That's the long term. The short term is real estate. All right. You guys got it? Yes?
Yeah.
Perfect. Within these rights, they're further divided into more rights. We have the right to improve, the right to devise, that means leave by will, the right to mortgage, encumber, cultivate, explore, mine, build, lease, license, dedicate, give away, abandon, share, trade, or exchange the property. Do you drink coffee? Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Because usually I have yawners in the morning. Okay, my morning class. Don't yawn before I start the class. I mean, I didn't even warm up to it.
Everybody has a coffee today.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Now, if she starts falling asleep, right? Just
Me?
hit her with a chair. No, not you.
Oh.
She's like, this is so boring.
That's something stronger.
I'm just messing with you. All right, cool. What'd you say?
So I have something more stronger than coffee.
You have something stronger than coffee.
He's like, he's
He's
getting away.
live, just to let you know, okay?
Huh?
He's live.
It's okay.
Pre-workout.
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 It's not what you think.
There's a lot of stuff that's pre-workout, and it works out.
It does, right?
Yeah. So here's what I want you to do, right? Where it says, so we said devise is leave by will, right? So that's one of the rights. You can will your property to somebody else. But right here where it says lease,
What do you mean will my property to someone else?
when you die,
Oh, okay.
right?
Pass it on.
Pass it on.
Okay.
If you don't have heirs, remember your instructor is the best instructor ever in the will. Okay?
Your instructor. I have no kids yet, so you never know.
Boom.
That's what you say. Amen.
See, I learned from a young age, when I used to cry a lot, that you only get what you ask for, right? You have to cry in order to be fed. Will, just saying.
I'm
All right.
gonna start crying a lot from now on then.
Is that what the babies do? All right. Devise means leave by will. I want you to do something here, real quick. Where it says lease, I want you to circle lease, right? Put an arrow towards the empty space. Circle lease. Put an arrow towards the empty space. And you're going to write demise. Now, demise is exactly the same thing as devise, but with an M for Mary. Demise. So every time you hear devise means you transfer property by will. Every time you hear demise with an M, transfer property by lease. Good? I'm going to repeat this a bunch of times throughout the next few chapters. Next, land versus real estate. What is the difference between land itself, just by itself, and real estate? See, we already know that real estate is real property. Yes? Great. But what is land? Isn't land real property as well? Real estate? No. So let's figure out what land is. It says right here, the term land refers to the surface of the earth, including water and anything attached to it by nature, such as trees and bushes. It also includes the minerals and substances below the earth's surface, together with the airspace above the earth's surface up to infinity and beyond. Okay?
I'm very buzzed.
You like that one, right? Buzz Lightyear. Very good. So with that being said, where it says land, right here on top, I want you to write raw land. R-A-W. Land. Raw. You know why? Because land is the term to define something that's nature only. The moment we touch it and we build something on it, it's no longer land by itself. Let's keep on going here. It says, thus land may be defined as the earth, including extending downwards from the surface to the center of the earth and upward to infinity, including, please highlight, underline, and put stars. All things permanently attached by nature only. Make sure you write only. By nature only. We have 3 viewers at home. Thank you. Like, celebrate. 3 viewers. We had the 4th one, but as soon as I looked, went away. All right. So land is everything that's earth. So we have the surface. We have the rights to everything that's beneath the surface and above the surface. So it's your parcel of land below and above. Okay? Yes.
Air rights.
We're getting there.
I heard of it and I didn't believe it.
You heard of air rights? You
Yeah.
cannot breathe unless you pay for it. Now, real estate. Real estate is different than land.
That's a good one.
Wait until we get to water rights.
Ooh, you cannot drink until you pay neither.
That's it. So the term real estate includes land, as we just defined, so raw land. But look what it says next. And all man-made improvements. So I want you guys to underline, double underline, triple underline, and all man-made
Is
improvements.
it man-made like something that has to do with construction?
No.
Somebody made something?
Yeah, it has to do with construction. Yeah. So man-made. Right? Nature did not go there and say, hey, house.
Why not?
Who built the house?
Man's work.
Or women, because yesterday we had discrimination chapter, so we don't want to discriminate. Right? There's women in construction as well.
Oh, yeah.
So anything that has a human touch to it makes it real estate. Great. The word improvement includes both buildings erected on the land and streets, utilities, sewers, and other manufactured additions to the property. As soon as you pave it, you pave the land, right? Did nature pave? Was it nature?
No.
No. Who did it? We did it. Real estate. As soon as you put pipes underground, like there's nothing above yet, there's pipes. Did nature do it? No, we did it. So here's what you need to understand. When I said real estate, I said estate means asset, right? So real estate is real property ownership. You have the rights to improve and all this stuff. My question is, do you guys go out and improve other people's property? No, of course not. Right? So real estate is because it's something you own and you're developing or improving. That's why estate, asset. Got it? Have you guys ever heard of estate sales? Again, the word estate is here for a reason. You're selling assets, estate, assets, previously owned by the deceased person. Does that make sense? Real estate, luckily, is when you're alive. You own it, you can sell it, you can trade it, you can destroy it, you can do whatever you want. Questions?
Not really.
It's not real?
Said not really.
Not really. You cannot do whatever you want. Within certain limitations, you are. You can.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Real estate then is defined as the Earth's surface extending downwards to the center of the Earth, upward into space, including all things permanently attached to it by nature or by people, and all the rights, benefits, and interest in it. We got 5 viewers. The ratings are going up.
Ask them a question.
Commercial break. Right? Ask them a question. Introduce yourselves, people at home. Ask questions. All right, so next we have, because I told you that real estate and land is the Earth's surface, anything below, anything above, right? So now let's figure out what's below. All right, Lucy's saying hi, good evening. Hi, Lucy, they said. So anything below the Earth's surface is called subsurface rights, or also mineral rights. So every time you see mineral or subsurface, that's what it is. And these may be owned separately. What that means is that you can sell the rights to something underneath. So let's figure this out. A landowner, for example, may sell his or her rights to any oil and gas found in the land to an oil company. That means I don't have the money. Oh, we got Paul watching as well. Good evening. What does that mean? It means that I don't have the money to buy the machines, right? To drill for the oil. But what can I do?
Sell the land?
Recapping. Perfect. What can I do? I can sell the interest, not the land, the interest or right to drill for oil. So I'll go to an oil company and say, hey, oil company, I have oil underneath, I believe. Could you please explore? If they say yes, we'll make an agreement. I'll give you the rights to it. I'll sell it. Right? Anything you find, I get a percentage, or no percentage, just a flat
Is it
fee.
for a lifetime or?
Whatever terms we make. It could be for the next 10 years. We're going to go more in detail in that, but next 10 years, 20 years, lifetime, until you sell it, a lot of things. Now, the landowner could then sell the land to a purchaser, and in the sale, reserve the rights to all coal that may be found in the land. So I sold the right to drill for oil to an oil company, and then when I sold the rest of the real estate, I said, well, any coal that you find, very smart of me, right? Any coal that you find is mine. So after these sales, 3 parties have ownership interest in the real estate. The oil company owns all the oil and gas. The seller owns all the coal. And what about the buyer? What do they have? Everything else. Everything else. My question to you now is, can the oil company sell the property? Excuse me. Folks,
I'm Googling coil. Carbon.
ask. The instructor.
Portuguese / English / Spanish. Slash some.
Don't slash too much because then we killing people. All right, so oil company owns all the oil and gas. Seller owns all the coal, right? And the new owner has everything. Can the oil company or the seller now sell the property?
No.
No, because they only have interests or claims to certain things in the property, not ownership title. Okay, or title to ownership to it, right? Great. Air rights. I told you that what we own is the surface, down, and up to infinity. Yes?
Outside.
Side belongs to somebody else. That's it. This is your parcel of land, up or down. That's it. Ready? Air rights, anything above. Now, usually I don't like to read what's here in regards to air rights, but I like to ask you a question. Do you guys know of any city or town, right, where there's really, really tall buildings, right? They call them skyscrapers. Do you guys know of any city or town that's like that?
Yeah, New York.
New York, great. I've had people say Chicago, that's why I want to make sure you guys know that across is New York. So New York skyscrapers, right? So there's a skyscraper this tall, right? And around it, have you noticed that there's no other skyscrapers right next to it? They're usually way lower. Why?
You don't have air rights?
They do have air rights, but the developer of the skyscraper went to your door, knocked on it, and goes like, hey, L, I want to build something next door, but I need you to stay up to the 50th floor, which is X amount of feet. Is it okay with you? And she goes, no, of course not. If I give you $1 million, is it okay with you for you to stay where you are? And they say yes, right? So I'm going to pay $1 million to everybody around me to stay where they are. Why am I paying $1 million? Views. Because now every suite that's above that line is being sold for millions of dollars. And I'm going to have like 30 suites above, so that's $30 million. How much did I have to pay? 5 or 6? Does that make sense? So I get their return. The idea is they have air rights, but they were sold to this developer for the views. You guys got it? Now these restrictions, as you were asking, could be for 10 years, could be for 20 years, could be forever. It all depends on the negotiations that we have. Good? So air rights, mineral rights, all could be sold independently.
So for a residential lot.
He said quick. It was that quick, he couldn't even say question. It was like quick.
And did someone already sell that air rights already?
What do you mean?
Because as far as like, say, your house here in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
were your air rights sold off already, or was it something with the
All these restrictions and all these things will be in the deed. So if you look at your deed, it will say if there's any restriction on how high you can build. It's not at municipal level, it's your deed, because you were paid off independently. For instance, if I sell the mineral rights to the oil company, right, in my deed, when I sell to you the house, it's going to say you own all the real estate minus the rights, so there will be reservations, minus the rights to the oil, because they were sold through a transaction, whatever, and see page and book and page, whatever, where it shows oil company purchase rights to oil. Or
That
drill for
goes
oil.
for commercial or residential.
Real
right?
estate. Residential, commercial, institutional, industrial, recreational, goes to everything. Everything could be sold independently. Got it? Next we have water rights. So, as far as water rights, land bordering on oceans, seas, or large lakes affected by tide currents is known as littoral, and land bordered or traversed by a stream or waterway is known as riparian. What we're saying here, before I go through the green section here, what I'm trying to say here is that if your property, right, so land, your property is bordering water, you might own it, or you might have rights to a portion of it, all right? Again, if it's close to lakes or large bodies of water, it's littoral. As we say here, an easy way to remember is that littoral rights start with L, lakes start with L. Okay? So every time you think about standing water, there's no stream, there's no nothing. Standing water, littoral. Riparian rights is when your property is near a river. Riparian R, river R. So anything that's like a river, it has a stream or waterway, it's riparian rights.
So
Okay.
let's say I live in Miami, right? Like, you see those boats over there between houses and properties between
Riparian.
houses? That's repairing. And let's say a
If
lake.
it's a river, yeah. If it's a lake, littoral.
Littoral.
Okay. Like Poconos. Okay.
So,
Good?
where is it?
All right. Now, how do we determine if it's ours or not? If we have rights to it or not? Simple. If a stream is identified as non-navigable, and I'll show you the map in a second, non-navigable on the federal survey map, its bed is owned by owner or owners of the adjoining land who have certain riparian rights and allow them to use the water. So let's look at this figure here real quick. We have non-navigable stream. In your book, and I'm sorry here we don't have the line, but in your book there's a line right in the middle. Right? So here's what happens. If it's non-navigable, you guys can see that the bed is very high, meaning it's very close to the top. That means no boat can go through it. Before I go back to this, let me show you navigable river. As you can see, it's owned by the public because commercial or public boats can go through. The bed is very low. You guys got it? Yes? All right, so let's look at the difference. Non-navigable, nothing can go through. Your property does not end right here. It ends in the middle of that stream. So your property by default was extended to the middle of the stream. That means you have rights to half of that river. Got it? And the other part has rights to the other half of that river.
Do you measure that equally?
Of course, because as soon as they cross my half, we can shoot them down. I mean,
I like you.
right?
Don't be my neighbor.
Says the guy that
That's
says there's other ways to get the energy pumping, huh?
That's,
Yeah.
that's only allowed in Florida.
Don't be my neighbor.
Right.
Jersey cannot have a gun with them.
Cannot have a gun without license. Doesn't say you cannot have a gun.
Yep.
Just get a license.
5P8.
Still need a license to bring it to Jersey. So if this is navigable, look at the difference. Your land ends here. You do not own the water at all.
But when you say jet ski by or your
Jet
boat-
skiing by?
Yeah, jet skiing by or boat is nearby. They say you have to go slow because there's properties around. If it's that little you own, why do they make this such a big deal?
You don't, you're not-
Well, you don't own, you have rights to it. And rights is to go to your waters. As soon as you cross the water or go to the neighbor's water, yeah, go slow because they might,
So you.
yeah, sue.
Nah.
You're trespassing. What can we do when somebody trespasses?
So,
That's it. You guys are really nice.
That's Pennsylvania.
Shoot and get arrested.
Still other?
People in Pennsylvania call it too.
I just want to make sure we're not buying a house down there by the water. Huh? Somebody trespasses my property.
Make sure I'm out of your line.
Anyway, normally two properties have a stream as their common border. The dividing line between the two properties is the middle of the stream. So is it measured accurately? No. You have rights. So it is understood that it's half and half. How do you determine the half? You can look at it. Right? It's not like they go put a line in the middle. This is yours. Okay. Now, if the stream were suddenly to change its course, which is a process known as avulsion, avulsion is the stream is going this way and all of a sudden the other way. Not very common, but it has happened. Some people in the past called it miracles, where it changes the stream, right? It's called avulsion. And the property line does not change, still stays in the middle. Doesn't matter how the stream goes, it stays in the middle. Next, Accretion. Where it says accretion, I want you guys to write addition. The word is very similar. The word's very similar. It means increase. Increase. So accretion or addition is an increase in land caused by the gradual depositing of solid material called alluvion by a contiguous body of water. And this is the opposite of erosion, which results in loss of property. Accretion, you gain. Erosion, you lose. Accretion, you gain. Erosion, you lose.
Do we have to know this or just because of the tax?
In green,
Not real.
I'll tell you what. Most likely, no, depending on what properties you're dealing with. Especially this next one, reliction. Reliction is a creation of dry land.
Some college words were complicated with this outstanding.
Yeah. Reliction is the creation of dry land by gradual withdrawal of water from the land by lowering the surface level. So we have the Meadowlands, for instance. They're building a bunch of stuff, but before that there was just water. And they're gradually taking water, depositing more material or dirt to be able to dry it and build on top. Right? Say it again.
You creating land.
They're creating land. How are they creating land? The land was already there, most of it. But they're taking water out. Okay? Reliction. Next. We have real property versus personal property. Now, everything that can be owned may be classified as either real or personal property. And anything that can be inherited is the
No
what?
word. Right there.
What is it?
No word.
Say it again.
Hereditary.
Nice. She went Portuguese.
Of course. I don't know word.
Great. The rest of you guys figure it out. That's what she said. So, can anybody say this word properly? What is it? You said something? She said it?
Hereditary.
Herediment? Anybody else? Huh?
Just run with it.
Just run with it. Entertainment? What is this? Entertainment? Is that what you're going for? All right. My point is, there's going to be weird words coming up, if they weren't weird yet. And it doesn't matter how you pronounce it, at least to me it doesn't matter. Sometimes I have people here that teach language, like English language, and it has to be proper. So, to me it doesn't matter, right, how you say it, as long as you know what it is. You know why? Because a lot of people in my class don't even speak proper English, because they're from a different country. I really do not care how you pronounce it, as long as you know what it is and you know how to explain.
What is that?
Inheritance. Something you inherited.
Okay, I know what it is.
Great. And it's called what? What did you say? Say it again.
Hereditary.
Herediment. Take it away. That's it. Anybody else? Hereditainment. Right? At that. Entertainment. Now, real estate or real property has already been defined as Earth's surface, including permanent additions and growing things attached to it, the airspace above it, and the minerals below it. We got this, right? Now, personal property. So, real property is done. But personal property, also called personality, real property, also called personality, is all property that does not fit the definition of real property. The best explanation ever. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Now, they saved themselves, whoever created this book, with the following sentence. While real estate is fixed and immovable, personal property is movable. So here's the thing. We have tangible personal property, and this is also referred to as chattels or chattels, if you want to sound fancy. It really does not matter how you say it. But you can remember cattle. Chattel, cattle. For one reason, because chattels include furniture clothing, refrigerator, bonds as an example. And this is all thing that's personal property. And personal property, the difference between personal property and real property is that this is fixed, immovable, and this, just like cattle, is movable. All right? There you go. Travis got it. Movable. All right? That's the biggest difference. Personal property, you can move. Real property, fixed, immovable. It could be removable, as we're going to talk about in a second, because this is removable, right? Or movable. The difference is this becomes a fixture, as we'll talk about in a little bit, and this is real estate. Fixtures could be real estate, but they could also be personal property. Okay? Let's clarify these things. Who's confused right now?
What about swimming pool?
Swimming.
With water or no water? What about swimming pool? Can he move the swimming pool?
Some have some
Above
plastic
ground,
strap,
above ground.
some big plastic.
Some have plastic. Is the plastic movable? No, I'm just messing with you. The pool is not movable. The moment it's affixed to the property, it's not movable anymore. It could be considered a fixture. It could be considered, because it's a plumbing fixture, right? And it could be considered real estate.
If you're trying to sell a property and they have a pool over there that's above ground, underground, the client, the customer, whatever.
Is it attached? The question is it attached?
And then they ask, like,
Is it movable? Can you go there and just grab it and put it on the other side?
or they don't like it.
Are you talking about kiddie pools, the ones you get at Walmart, or? Oh, okay.
You're selling a property and there is a pool and they don't like it. Well, find one without it.
Find one without. We'll talk about pools at a later time. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
that's what they do. Actually, we'll talk about that also later on. in chapter 9. All right, why do we need to know what's personal property and what's real property? Don't leave. Oh. Why do we need to know what's personal property and what's real property? You have to be able to advise the client what goes with the property or not. And also, the method of transfer differ for the two. For instance, real property, what's fixed, is transferred by deed. While personal property, the stuff that's movable, so the tables, the chairs, and all that, they're transferred by a bill of sale. What is a bill of sale? Well, right now, when you go to a store, they give you a receipt. It's a lot easier to say than bill of sale. Receipt. So if you go to Home Depot, for instance, and you buy material to build a house, right? They give you a receipt that itemizes what you just purchased. Yes?
Yes.
That receipt is called a bill of sale. It's only for movable objects. So for personal property. Yes? Okay, cool. Now, it is possible to change the status of any real estate to personal property, and the tree is real estate, but once the owner cuts down the tree, right, severing it from the earth, the tree becomes personal property. So it was once fixed, immovable. You cut it down, it's now movable. You guys got it?
What if,
So it became personal property.
if the tree is a real estate property and in order for you to cut, you need to ask permission, no? Or something like that?
If it's your property, we're talking
If
about
it's
your property.
Oh, okay.
Talking about your backyard. If it's the city-owned,
And you're in big trouble.
yeah, you're in trouble, big trouble. They put the tree, you never asked for it, right? You have to maintain it, and if you cut it down, you're in trouble. Anyway, but here we're talking about your property, what's yours and what's not, okay? Now, the reverse situation is also possible. Reverse situation is also possible, where we can have personal property and make it real property. You guys remember the example? I know it was a long time ago, when I was talking about going to Home Depot and buying materials. Okay, right.
I wasn't here.
No? Okay. Well, now you are. So, We bought stuff at Home Depot, we got a bill of sale itemized.
Right.
Everything we brought from Home Depot here, or Lowe's or anywhere else. So everything you brought from Home Depot until here is personal property. The moment you start building, you start attaching to the land, right? It becomes real property. It was once personal because it was movable. Now it's a fixed, immovable, real property. Next we have vegetation. Vegetation falls into two classes. We have trees and perennial bushes and grasses that do not require cultivation. These are considered real estate. Okay? Now, crops such as wheat, corn, and garden vegetables are known as implements and are considered personal property. Okay? Personal property. So pretty much, if it doesn't require cultivation, it's
Real estate?
real estate. If it's something that you intend to cultivate, that means you're going to go there and cut it out eventually. It's called implements or personal property. Great. Sorry. Yeah, the doorbell. That's what makes people go up and down. All right. Cool. I froze for a second. Well, not me, the stream. Next, fixtures. Have you heard of fixtures before? Anybody? The term fixture? Yeah? What is the most common fixtures that you guys know about?
Like,
Light fixtures. But why do we call it fixture? Well, because it's fixed. No, that's what it is. See, the thing is, an article that was once personal property, it says right here, but has been so attached to the land that now belongs to it, right? It's considered part of real estate. It's a fixture. Light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, heating systems, elevator equipment, kitchen cabinets. Those are not part of the building, right? The building is 4 walls. And then you attach stuff to it. So anything that's removable is a fixture. Can we remove light fixtures?
Yes.
Can we remove plumbing fixtures? Kitchen cabinets?
Yes.
Simple. Anything that's removable is a fixture. So almost any item that has been added as a permanent part of the building is considered a fixture.
Pool. Pool.
The pool. Absolutely. The above ground pool. If it's below ground, is a problem, not a fixture. All right. Now there's different types of fixtures. There's the fixture that belongs to the owner. I'm sorry. Another time. We're actually going to address that another time.
okay.
Anyway, so a property, something that's owned by me, like the light fixtures, are real estate. They belong to me, right? But then there's tenant and trade fixtures. They either belong to residential tenants, or if it's a trade fixture, it's a business. Okay? For instance, this space right here where we are is rented, it's leased. We lease the 3rd floor. This is our unit. And when we install these TVs, for instance, the owner knows that they belong to the business. The landlord knows that I'm entitled to remove it. You guys understand? Tenant fixtures is a little different, like residential tenants. So let's talk about business. An article owned by a tenant and attached to a rented space for use in conducting a business is a trade fixture. 7 viewers and counting. All right. It says at the bottom, tenants must remove their trade fixtures before the termination of their lease. Any fixtures that are not removed, so if I don't take these TVs out of here, right, Any fixtures that are not removed after the lease expires become
Your property?
become property of the landlord. Malik is like, yeah, makes sense.
I like it.
Right? As a landlord, yeah, of course. I got these half off on Black Friday. You think I'm gonna let it go like that?
How about when you're like when you move in, right? And then you ask to paint the house. and
I'm getting
everything.
there. Give me some time. We're still in business. We're still in trade fixtures, right? I'm going to explain all that to you. Page 70. Trade fixtures differ from other fixtures in the following way. So, trade fixtures are for business. Make sure you write business. And they differ from other fixtures in the following way. Fixtures belong to the owner of real estate. But trade fixtures, as I was explaining, usually are owned and installed by a tenant for his or her business use. Fixtures are considered a permanent part of the building, but trade fixtures are what? Removable. Look what it says in yellow. The tenant must, however, restore the property to the original condition before the end of the lease. That means as soon as I take these TVs out, I must also patch those holes. Does that make sense? Restore the property to original condition. That's on me. And as we'll learn later, and most of you know this, if I don't, it's deducted from my security deposit. Very good. Now, fixtures in general, I already explained this as well. They are considered real estate, but trade fixtures, because trade fixtures are tools of the trade and they belong to the business, trade fixtures are considered to be personal property. Right? They are aware that doesn't belong to them. Okay. Now, we're done with business. Let's go to residential. Regular tenants. Tenant fixtures can also be fixtures installed by a tenant in a residential rental property, including such items as bookcases, chandeliers, or even stoves. You can install whatever you want on my property. Totally up to you. But here's the keywords for state exam and real life. Please highlight, underline, put stars. Without prior written agreement of the landlord. Without prior written agreement of the landlord. Without prior written agreement of the landlord. They become part of the real estate and they belong to?
How?
Not how. You installed, you never asked for my permission.
Oh, it has to be in the agreement.
You
or in
altered
the
my
permit.
building.
Everything has to be in the agreement or the contract, so that way.
Not in the contract. You come to me and say, Bruno, I want to replace your stove.
Yeah, but some
Because it
people
goes-
they say it by mouth, but they
Hold on.
don't.
Hold on.
Later on, they forget.
Hold on. If you read,
Oh.
written.
Reading agreement.
If it's not in writing, yeah, I'll forget. So, right? So here's the thing. How do you come to me and say, Bruno, I like your stove, but I want everything, like my stove is white, let's say, but I want everything to be black in my kitchen, or everything to be chrome in my kitchen. Sure. If it's verbal, I can forget. If it's in writing, neither one of us will forget, right? If you don't say anything, it's mine. You will replace my stove, I get the newest and best. And now I have a chrome kitchen.
For free.
For free, because you, chrome stove, wait, there's more. Because with the stove has to come the dishwasher and the fridge. There's a reason why she wanted chrome.
I like that.
But if
Does that
I
make
have
sense?
the fridge already that it's chrome.
No, the fridge is yours, that's fine.
Yeah, the fridge is not
And the
considered-
stove?
The stove now becomes mine. Unless we have a written agreement. And in that written agreement, we're also going to determine, right here, if the tenants, look how it says, if the tenants are allowed, that means we agreed, right? If the tenants are allowed to remove the fixtures, so I allowed you to install, I'll also allow you to remove, yes? If you are allowed, what are you expected to do? Restore the property to its original condition as well before you vacate the premises. So you have to put the old stove back and make sure it's working.
It
Otherwise,
has to be before the lease is expired.
before you get out, yes. So, or if it's not working, the old stove, right? I can sue you for my stove, which is
And
yours
your
now.
property.
We're gonna turn this around, okay? Now, legal test of a fixture. Legal test of a fixture. You see how fast this chapter goes without Miss Cocaine here? Quick. She was on her way. All right, let's do 3 chapters real quick then. All right. Legal test of a fixture. What does this mean? Is to figure out what is determined to be fixture or not. So courts apply 4 basic tests to determine whether the disputed article is a fixture. It means a part of real estate, or if it's removable personal property. These tests are based on the intention of the party annexing the item, the method of annexation of the item, the relationship, the adaptation of the article to the real estate, and the relationship of the parties. I was jumping ahead because I use an acronym for this. And you're going to use,
What is annexation?
hold on. You're going to use Maria. Sorry. You don't mind if we use you, right? Great. You're going to use Maria, which is the method of, what's number 1? What does it say?
Annex.
What else?
Relationship.
Relationship of the parties, intention, and adaptation.
You didn't have that in the other class.
Yes, I did. So, Maria, it's the 4 basic tests. MA is for method of annexation, R is for relationship of the parties, I is for the intention of the party annexing the item, and A is for adaptation of the article to the real estate. Maria. I love acronyms, so use them. That's why when I was reading from the book, right, I skipped ahead. I was going, Maria. Ready? So, although these tests seem simple, there's no uniformity in court decisions regarding what constitutes a fixture. Articles that appear to be permanently affixed sometimes have been held by courts to be personal property, and items that do not appear to be permanently attached have been held to be fixtures. For example, it says right here, the installation of wall-to-wall carpeting can be interpreted, installation of wall-to-wall carpeting could be interpreted as installation of an area rug. Wall-to-wall. When you look at wall-to-wall carpeting, usually we believe that it's part of the real estate, that nobody wants but's there, right? We don't know if it's an area rug. If it's an area rug, look what it says. The seller could remove it even if it's not specifically stated where? In the listing agreement or contract. So you need to know, Maria, the method of annexation, right? The relationship of the parties, the intention of the party annexing the item. So putting the wall-to-wall carpeting. You guys got it? And the adaptation of the article. So the other question is items like front door key. I don't have keys here, so I cannot use it. But let's imagine this is a key, right? It's not a key, it's for the TV, but it works. The same concept. Front door key. Although this is movable, right, it's not attached, right? This could be considered a fixture. And considered a fixture right? And also real estate. Why? Because it belongs to the TV in this case. The front door key, which is the best example, not this, but it's what I have right now, I'm sorry. The front door key belongs to the lock of the door of the real estate. Therefore, even though it's movable, it's actually a fixture. That key is real estate. You guys understand? Why do we need to know all this stuff? For the listing, absolutely, but also for the buying. See, it's not only when you're dealing with a seller. As the buyer's agent, you should be able to ask the questions. Is this included with it or not? Right? Because what you see is not always what you get. On chapter 10, we're going to talk about listings. What you see is not always what you get. So you got to ask the questions. What is and what is not included in this real estate transaction?
Simple things are chandeliers.
Chandelier, yep. Or the chrome stove.
They're always different.
You guys got it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, for you guys, and for the 7 people watching from home, we're going to be back in roughly 5 minutes. We're going to go to the next chapter. I'm going to set it up and put the link live. Okay? You can go for more coffee now.